Have you ever seen those wild videos of toilets on oil rigs absolutely swarmed with fish? It looks like something out of a science fiction movie. You pull the flush, and instead of things going down, a whole school of fish seems to be trying to swim up. What on earth is going on here? Why are these fish so obsessed with human toilets in the middle of the ocean? It's a question that seems almost too weird to be real, but the answer is a fascinating dive into marine biology, engineering, and a little bit of fish psychology. Stick around, because we're about to flush out the truth, and it's way more interesting than you think. So, let's get the most common and, frankly, kind of gross theory out of the way first. A lot of people see these videos and immediately jump to one conclusion. The fish are eating human waste. It makes a certain kind of sense, right? Toilets are for waste. And in the vast, often barren open ocean, a potential food source is a potential food source. But here's the thing. That's not actually what's happening. Modern offshore oil rigs are basically self-contained floating cities. They have incredibly strict environmental regulations to follow. They can't just dump raw sewage into the ocean. That would be a massive environmental violation, leading to huge fines and ecological damage. These rigs are equipped with advanced marine sanitation devices, or MSDs. These are essentially sophisticated wastewater treatment plants. They collect all the sewage, treat it with biological and chemical processes to break down waste and kill harmful bacteria, and only then is the treated, clean water discharged. The water coming out is actually much cleaner than you'd imagine. So, if they're not there for the poop, what's the deal? The real answer has more to do with the structure of the rig itself than what's being flushed. Think about an oil rig. It is a gigantic metal island in the middle of what's often called a blue desert. The open ocean can be surprisingly empty. There are no rocks, no reefs, no kelp forests for small fish to hide in. A predator like a tuna or a shark comes along, and you're an easy meal. Now along comes this massive, complex structure with legs, crossbeams, pipes, and all sorts of nooks and crannies. For a small fish, this is a paradise. It's an artificial reef. It provides immediate shelter from predators and strong currents. Algae, barnacles, and other small organisms start to grow on the submerged parts of the rig, creating a brand new food source. This attracts small fish, which in turn attract slightly larger fish, and so on, all the way up the food chain. The oil rig becomes a bustling, vertical ecosystem. Now, let's bring it back to the toilet. The discharge pipe from the sanitation system is just another part of this structure. But it has a few extra special features that make it particularly attractive. First, the outflow. The treated water being released creates a constant current. Many fish, especially smaller ones, love to hang out in currents. It brings them oxygen and tiny planktonic food particles, so they can just hover there and get a free meal delivered without expending much energy. Think of it like a fish version of a grocery store conveyor belt, but there's another, even more important factor: the temperature. The wastewater treatment process, and just the general activity on the rig, can sometimes warm the discharged water slightly. It might only be a degree or two warmer than the surrounding ocean, but in the deep, often cold water, that tiny temperature difference is like a warm, cozy fireplace. Fish, being cold-blooded, are drawn to this slightly warmer water. It can boost their metabolism and make them more comfortable. So, when you combine these factors, you get the perfect fish hotspot. You have the massive shelter of the rig itself, you have the constant food-bringing current from the discharge pipe, and you have the slightly warmer, more comfortable water. The fish aren't trying to get into the toilet. They're just congregating at the exit point of the pipe because it is the best spot in their neighborhood. It's like finding a cafe with free snacks, perfect air conditioning, and a great security guard. Why would you want to be anywhere else? The flushing action we see in the videos just temporarily disturbs them. The rush of water pushes them around, making it look like they're in a frenzy, but as soon as it settles, they come right back to their favorite spot. This phenomenon isn't just limited to toilets either. Any pipe or outlet on the rig that discharges water, whether it's cooling water from machinery or deck drainage, can become a similar gathering spot. It's all part of a larger effect known as the Rigs to Reefs program. For decades, scientists and fishermen noticed that these offshore platforms become incredible marine habitats. When an old rig reaches the end of its life, instead of spending millions to remove it completely, sometimes the best option is to clean it, topple it, and leave it on the seafloor to become a permanent artificial reef. These structures provide vital habitats that can support huge populations of fish and invertebrates, sometimes even more densely populated than natural reefs. It's a fascinating example of how an industrial structure can inadvertently create a thriving natural ecosystem. So, the next time you see one of those mind-boggling videos of a toilet full of fish on an oil rig, you'll know the real story. It's not about a disgusting free lunch. It's a beautiful, albeit strange-looking example of marine life adapting and thriving in an unexpected place. The fish have simply found a 5-star resort in the middle of the ocean, complete with shelter, food delivery, and climate control, all thanks to the complex engineering of an oil rig. It just so happens that the front door to this fish paradise is, from our perspective, a toilet. Nature is truly amazing, and sometimes it has a very strange sense of humor. What a wild world we live in. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this as fascinating as I did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird and wonderful corners of our world. See you next time.